Hi. My name is Tara Akhavan. I'm co-founder and chief technology officer of a startup, Montreal-based startup called Iris Tech. When I got contacted by this organization, that was the topic that I kind of picked for this talk. And it's about when I realized I need to keep up my personal growth with the business growth. When I dig deeper into this, I figured out that there is a lot of correlation between that topic and the new topic, which is what I'm learning these days, which is that there is a big difference between self-awareness and self-doubt, which goes hand in hand with the other topic, which was business growth and personal growth. And we will get back to this at the end of the presentation. So anyways, we can call it this or that. I got contacted immediately after I gave a TEDx Montreal talk on the technology, on the motivations I had to start this company, and the technical challenges, some of the physiological challenges. And when I got contacted, I was thinking, okay, these two organizations, like TEDx Montreal Women, TEDx Women Montreal, and the Women Tech Makers have few things in common. Both about women, about technology, about leadership, and then some of the challenges we face, and there are extra challenges you face when you're a woman in technology, and when you're a woman in technology in leadership position. So it took me a while, and when I say a while, it means literally like maybe 3 days ago, I figured out how am I going to position what I'm going to talk about. And I realized the best thing is to tell you the story of my journey, my entrepreneurial journey. I'm going to repeat this story 2 times. One time because one is not enough, and you're not bored enough, but because first time I'm going to position it in a way that most entrepreneurs talk about. And it's not a lie, it's pure honesty, but maybe not some of the details which are challenging. And the second time I'm going to tell you what happens behind the scenes, and it's so dirty. So the first one. This paragraph is a paragraph I wrote to women tech makers, introducing myself, that I'm co-founder, CTO, and board member of a high-tech Series A startup in Montreal. And yeah, I know that doesn't mean anything. I'm not Sheryl Sandberg. But immediately came to my mind that, like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And I don't have a billion-dollar company. But also maybe it means something. And how would I present myself if I were a guy? And I have a lot of friends who went through the same process as I went through, the same incubator, and the way they present themselves is always a little bit with more self-confident and less self-doubt. So that is the first kind of point that I self-doubt all the time. And I did a quick search on Google. Self-doubt, don't worry about it, don't panic, you are a woman. Few other articles, how even people who are on top of their career still self-doubt, and there are some diseases, and they call it few different things, whatever. But it's just you can find millions of these articles on Google with a quick search. So I decided that I'm going to talk a little bit about self-doubt and self-awareness during this talk. But you need to give you a little bit of context about my story, I need to tell you a bit. It will be 2-3 slides about my startup. We all experience these 3 big challenges, interacting with our displays. And displays are everywhere, so we are spending more than 4 or 5 hours on average interacting with displays. But that's for an average person. I kind of assume everybody in this room spends more than 8 hours interacting with displays. So battery recharging, poor content visibility in dark or bright, in sunny environments, in different lighting conditions, and eye strain and eye fatigue. So the motivation was I will put together some idea of an eye-healthy display, which takes into account the ambient lighting, because that's a big influencer on how we interact with our displays. The second is our personalized visual system. Some people are colorblind, some people see more details, and we have our personalized vision, and then the limitations of the hardware. So bringing technical expertise in those three domains, we put together the idea of Iris Tech to make the displays be more healthy and match exactly what we kind of see in real world to be easier on our eyes. This is a video. I'm surprised there is a sound for it, so it's a dramatic sound. It was supposed to be no sound. Anyways, so this is a video showing how we, this is a before-after. This is a bright environment, and we filmed it on the same tablet. On the right side, on your right side, you see it processed, and the left side, you see it the way the technology is today. This is a very high-end Samsung Galaxy. And everything is very perceptual, so you don't need to change the hardware, you don't need to do much. It's more of exactly bringing in the physiology and make it more visible in a sunny environment. At the same time, save 30% of the battery. So anyways, high-tech, cool technology. Hopefully it will be out soon. And we have an awesome team behind this. That is our full-time team, so we are 14 right now, and we have 8 or 9 people who work part-time with us. This is the core team. I'm very happy that it's 35% women. They're all PhDs, all very, very determined and very driven and very smart. And we are from 7 different countries. Diverse, cool. So this is about the technology. A little bit about my journey during the last 3 years when I started this. In 2014, I was a second-year PhD student in Vienna, Austria. I was broke. I didn't have any funding. I had a lot of supervisor drama. I'm not going to dig into this because this will be public video. So, and then I met, very accidentally in a conference, I met Helge Sitzen, which is the CEO of Tandem Launch, and Tandem Launch happens to be the reason I'm in Montreal. This is an incubator. If you're passionate about technology or entrepreneurship, you definitely should visit them. And I just met Eleonora, one of our colleagues from Tandem Launch is here, so this is like a kind of a teaser in between. But going back, so I met Helge accidentally in a conference. I ended up starting to apply for an internship in Tandem Launch, and I just got engaged. 2015, I got the $500,000 seed fund from the incubation, from Tandem Launch. I got my co-founder, very brilliant women in technology as well. And we scaled the team to kind of 9 different people who would help us with this idea that we have, which we have no clue if it's going to work out or not. We had our first proof of concept. We put together some very basic business strategy or direction, okay, who we are going to sell this to. I put together a technical advisory board of 5 or 6 very smart full professors all around the world who would help us with different fields to move it forward. And I got married, and I immigrated to Canada. 2016, we brought in our third co-founder, super smart guy. He sold few companies before, startup entrepreneurial person. We became the champion of Silicon Valley Forum competition, which is a competition in the US among 180 startups from all over the world. We got 15 different, very well-known OEMs involved and engaged with us to move faster in our product development. We raised another raise of financing, Series A. We scaled the company. I did a TEDx Women Montreal. We closed the deal, and we've got our first revenues into the company. So that's super cool, right? It's just like going up. It's not like that, you're going to see. So just a little bit still the nice version of the story. In 2012, that is me. Sitting in a workshop, which I was a student, and the one sitting beside me ended up now to be one of the inventors of our patents, and he's working in Dolby today, Robert. And Jennifer back there did an internship with Iris for 3 months later on. But in 2012, we were just getting to know each other. And this person, which is not in the picture, behind the Mac, who actually took the picture is Greg Ward. He's like the Brad Pitt of computer vision industry. So everybody knows him, and he's the celebrity. And like I was like so wowed that I was just meeting him, and I'm sitting here and he's presenting. So now he's a technical advisory board of our company, but anyways, this is 2012. 2015 at McGill, this is our first demonstration, and we wanted to have a dark room. We didn't know how to control to show our demonstration in dark, so we were having this like dark sheet, and it was all messy. And this is my co-founder, and this is before we get the funding from Tandem Launch. So later on, this is us. This is our third co-founder pitching to an investor in a closet. So we went to an event, and we actually won that. I'm going to show that here, but before that. So we pitched, and we got the first startup kind of award, and they were announcing the same way that they are now announcing my name, and I was not appearing on the stage. So apparently they were telling us that, yeah, Iris Tech won this prize, and you need to come up stage. And we were far away in a closet pitching to an investor because we were fundraising. And eventually somebody came and knocked, and it's like, guys, are you Iris Tech? You really need to go. People are waiting. So anyways, we got this. We happened to piss off people, organizers. And that is Greg Ward, just to show you a picture that now he's with us, and that is me so happy. You can see 32 teeth in that picture. Because, yeah, I got this celebrity to finally work with us, and I was so proud. This is last summer. So, but the actual journey, what happens behind the scenes, which will be one kind of long story of my self-doubting moments and all the drama and all the ups and downs and all the roller coaster, is more like this. In 2014, I was very desperate for money to start the company and to put together experts and build a team and be able to move forward. And I all thought, like, if I have money, it's going to be great. We're going to make it. That's the only bottleneck. We just need money. In 2015, I thought that no, the technology is the most important thing. So money is there, but the technology should work. Like, we need to be very brilliant. We need to be innovative. We need to make the technology work. Slowly, I'm realizing it's all about the team. So for me, the lesson learned is it's all about the people. And the journey can never be that clean, that nice, that hockey rocket with just exponential growing. It's more like this. And I'm going to talk about those few very much kind of downhill moments here. I'm a person who thinks that I really believe my drive is growing and learning. So as long as I can kind of have this nice, colorful graph that I'm growing, I'm happy with myself. So I've already done that exercise that Melinda was talking about. So my drive is growing. And I always plan for it. So, okay, for growing, first I will do this, and then I will do this next quarter, and we'll be just nice and clean and hockey rocket. But I'm quoting, so these are really true sentences that I've heard. When I was a first-year PhD student, I got to hear that, none of your ideas will work, right? Like, this is not a good PhD. Before I moved to Montreal, it's like, if you leave your PhD in the middle of the PhD, you're never going to finish. It's tough. Like, people focus on it for 5 years and they still cannot finish it. Like, you think if you go and start something else, you're going to finish it? No way. Before we get our Canadian work permit, which took us a bit of a while, it's like, it will take so long, and you're just wasting your time, and you're thinking about another immigration, another country. It's so hard. Finding friend, network, not going to happen. Before I get the seed investment in Tandem Launch, which is an incubator with a lot of entrepreneurs in residence, there were a few of those entrepreneurs who would go back to me and always say, you know that they will never invest in you, right? You're wasting your time. Just go back to Vienna and finish your PhD. Before we grow our team, I heard this comment that, experienced people will never work with you guys. I just want to mention again that we have the Brad Pitt of computer vision working with us. And before we become a standalone company and move out of Tandem Launch, we used to get this comment that no way that you kiddos are going to run a company. It needs experience. It's very hard. It's not that simple. And what these sentences did to me, and by the way, it's not that they were mean people or they were my enemies. They were all my friends, my family, the network. And I don't have a mean family. But it's just they really thought that they are giving me heads up, and they are trying to set me up, not for failure, but like, be realistic, it's not going to happen. So what happens, and my reaction is, okay, more self-doubt, and oops, what do I do now? I need more planning. I need to learn more. Maybe I should read more books about entrepreneurship and people who did this. I don't know. Maybe I should try to call Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know. Do something about it. And I need to prove these people wrong. That is that stubbornness that kind of always is there when you get negative comments. And because I'm a very extrovert person, how I handled all these negative comments is that I started to talk to people more and more. I started to validate these things and figure out if they're right and if I'm so much in my head, and do some reality check. So I opened up to a lot of people. I tried to talk to them. I look for trust. I look for brainstorming to figure out how am I going to solve these problems. And because talking is my way of expressing, I ended up meeting those few among all the negative people around me, those one or two who would actually believe in me more than I believed in myself at that time. One of them, as I mentioned, Tanam Launch CEO, was Helge. We met in the conference, and he was the one that, yeah, totally, you can do this. Like, this is so simple. Everybody is doing it. Of course, you should do that. So the other one was my supervisor in Vienna. So I switched my supervisors, and the new supervisor was very, very supportive of me and believed in me that all these things can happen. And I think that was enough to start. And of course, at home, I had a great, back then, fiancé, and then later my husband, that believed in me. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this, but I'm sure you're going to do this, and it's going to happen. Maybe those few were enough for me to start and kind of hang myself and try to fight back. And then I built this technical advisory board, which were all very famous in the field, and they trusted us, and they came on board when we had no money, and we were just, yeah, we have this cool idea. Would you guys brainstorm with us 1 hour a month on Skype just to help us figure it out? And they were nice enough, and they trust us. So slowly we put the pieces together, and we move forward. So I'm going to tell you this long story of all the, I'm not going to use a bad word here, all the drama which happened to me, but one of the lessons learned was I learned more from people, and I need to surround myself with people who are able to teach me something, or help me brainstorm, clear my mind, and believe in me. So just when I thought I have the technical advisory board, I have the seed fund, I have everything is nice now, more drama happened. So I thought that I'm on the graph of the growth and I'm moving forward. But actually what happened, it was, I had to scale the business now. It was real. And chaos happened. Like, it was all the dimensions, and I didn't know which one to handle, and I was not experienced. Those people were right. Like, I didn't know what to do. I needed to build a team. I needed to secure more money to pay the team. I had to have a solid roadmap, some business development. My PhD was still ongoing, and it was painful, so people were right. Immigration was tough. I was a new wife, and I had to still be a good daughter. And what happens is I failed. So because I couldn't handle all these things, we postponed our wedding. I didn't do a single planning of our wedding. I was like an invited guest to our wedding when eventually it happened. I had to buy my wedding dress 1 hour before they closed the shops, and then the next morning we were flying out to Europe to our wedding, and my PhD was postponed for a year or two. Immigration was delayed, so I couldn't do all these things at the same time. We had some team drama internally, and I haven't had a relaxed weekend for the last 2.5 years because I'm doing my research on the weekends. But anyways, this is just a picture to show that the dress fit. It went well. It was not perfect, but it was okay. So I got more desperate, and more self-doubt that this, like, maybe those guys were right. And I think everybody was right. They were not mean to me. They were giving me heads up. And it's right that those things are tough to do together and all at the same time. And that's why I need help. And I figured out I cannot be my control freak self anymore. It was so fun when I was a control freak before, and I could plan everything and make sure it goes by the plan. But one of the most important events for every girl, which is wedding, went without planning. So I figured out that I need to work on that. And as Melinda was saying, the world is changing so dynamically that no matter how much you plan, you still need to be agile and you need to be responsive to the outside and dynamic. So I had to be flexible with every strategy decision we also made in our company. And then I figured out startups are not about shortcuts, and it's not that something comes without a cost and it's a shortcut. It's just you're paying for it upfront, and it's in a compressed time. So you're more stressed, you need to work more, you need to grow more, and accept the failures before they are pushed on you, and before the world let you know that you don't fit something that you're doing. You need to readjust and reflect and realize that something is going on there. And then self-awareness, which I'm going to talk about more, and also finding my way in chaos. These were kind of the lessons that I'm trying still to learn. I'm not good at it. And that nice planning thingy is just a perfect mess. I need to figure out on-the-fly planning and reacting to the constant chaos around me. So self-awareness, which is a very hot kind of phrase and very, very much used in entrepreneurial world and in industry these days, is defined as conscious knowledge of one's own character, feeling, motives and desires, and I added there like the weaknesses. So everybody, the nice way of telling you you're kind of fired is just, we figure out maybe you're not so self-aware, and maybe you fit like in a better position in blah, 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 somewhere here in the company. But so self-awareness is a big deal, and I really believe that that is something that every person in every real job needs to have. But on the other hand, we as women tend to have self-doubt more than men, and that is proven psychologically. And I don't want to get psychological here, but what are the reasons? But even though we are living in an era which is more female-friendly than ever, and men are fighting for diversity, and everybody believes in the values of diversity, but are we there? Like that internal thing, that self-doubt. As the maybe few first generations who are trying to make our way to the board levels, to strategic levels, are we there? Are we understand the dynamics? Are we self-aware enough? So those are the challenges that I'm trying to face and kind of improve myself in these days. And so I'm trying to redefine growth for myself. And so this is my nice graph since childhood, that growth should be this colorful and nice, but it's actually, I'm learning it's multidimensional. It's in every aspect I need to make sure that I'm growing. If I just grow in development, coding, or pure in research, I'm not going to be very successful in today's world. I need to learn how to work within a team, how to motivate my teammates, my EQ needs to be higher, then how to connect all these cool things we are doing with the real business world. So all those aspects of the growth should happen. And then I think it's not even only multidimensional, it's the pure chaos with a lot of nodes which are correlating with each other, and they have an effect on each other. So if I'm doing better on my PhD, probably I will be a better researcher at my work. And then if I handle my team better, maybe I will learn how to handle being a better wife or a better daughter at the same time. So that is my realization that it's just all very connected. And the business growth, if you have a good business, if you're a startup which is not dead yet, it means you're doing okay-ish. So, and this is what we think about the business and the business growth. What I'm realizing these days is just my business is growing, but my personal growth in all of those aspects need to catch up. It should be with the same pace. I can do great, but if I'm not catching up with the business growth, I'm going to be replaced, or I will be the first person who wants to replace myself with someone who can help the business and push it more forward. And you know my graph, right? So somewhere there's a connection, but I'm still working on it. And because I'm a control freak, I need plans all the time. So what is the plan? These days I'm working hard to figure out my only plan that can still be valid is I need to keep learning. And that's it. Thank you.